A couple of things that I want to just sort of elaborate on, go into a little more detail on after watching the video that's included in my math lab for you for this section in your book. To start with, there are several different forms of the equation of a line that you'll be using. The first one that you saw explained is the point slope form. And that equation is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now what you need is at least one point and some way to find the slope. Okay, now I say at least one point because sometimes you're going to be given 2 points that the line runs through and asked to write the equation of that line. So let me find an example real quick. Let's see. Let's say we need to find the equation of the line that goes from -2, -1 through -1, -6. The first thing you have to do is find the slope of this line. So use your slope formula. So -1 minus -6, -2 minus -1. It's going to simplify to be -1 plus 6 and -2 plus 1. So we're looking at 5 over -1, or simply -5. Okay, so we've got a slope. And we actually have 2 points. Now you get to choose which of these 2 points you want to use. When I'm making the decision, a lot of times I'll pick the one that has the smaller numbers in it. It's really not going to matter. You're going to end up with the same line either way. So I would recommend always writing down the formula you're going to use. Helps you remember it. And then we start plugging in our numbers. Y minus the y coordinate of the point equals the slope times x minus the x coordinate of the point. So we're looking at y plus 1 is equal to -5 times x plus 2, or y equals -5x minus 11 when you solve for y. So the point slope form of the equation of a line, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. The next form that you're introduced to is called the slope intercept form. And that's the one you're probably most familiar with. Y is equal to mx plus b. The m is the slope of the line, and the value of b is the y-intercept. You can use the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line to write the equation in a lot of cases where point slope form would be what I would choose to use. You could use slope-intercept form. For example, that last problem, the points were -2, -1, and -1, 6, and we've already done the work to find the slope is -5. Then you can use, if I'm going to use slope-intercept, plug in, I'm going to pick one of the 2 points to work with. The y value of that point has to equal the slope times the x value of that point plus b. And you're going to solve that equation for b. So now you've got the value of b, and you can write the equation of your line. Y is equal to -5 times x minus 11, which is exactly what we got before. The other form of the equation of the line that you're going to see from time to time is called the general form. That looks like ax plus by plus c equals 0. Usually the values of a, b, and c are whole numbers, although not always. Really the only requirement is that a, b, and c have to be real numbers. And a and b both can't be 0. One or more of them, one of them could be 0, but not both. If you're given the equation of a line in general form, typically you're going to solve it for y as your first step, because then you can work with it if it's in slope-intercept form. And the last example that Professor Ward did for you started with the equation of a line that was in general form. The equation you were given was 4x minus 3y minus 6 equals 0. And his recommendation was that you start by solving this for y. And get y is equal to 4/3 x minus 2. And then you could graph it. I do want to kind of point out that last example, the directions for the example specifically said for you to graph using intercepts. And he didn't do it that way. The y-intercept we know is -2. Now that's the point 0, -2 on the graph. If we also wanted to think about the x-intercept, the x-intercept is a point, it's always going to have the form some number, comma 0. So to find the y-intercept, you plug 0 in for x. To find the x-intercept, you're going to plug 0 in the equation for y. So if we do that and solve for x, I multiplied both sides by 3 in that last step, and now I'm going to divide by 4, reducing that fraction to 3/2. Then the x-intercept would be 3/2, 0. And then if you plot those 2 points and draw the line through them, then you've got the graph of your function.